So here we're trying to find a derivative of a function that has an exponential on it. And in this example, our exponential has a base value of 2 rather than e. So if that's the case, we kind of follow this format here, or we have, let's say we have a hypothetical a to the u power. The way we find the derivative of that is write the original exponential and then multiply it by the derivative of the u value or exponent, and then you multiply that by the natural log of the a value. So we'll kind of just break this down step by step. Just kind of looking at this at first glance, you see that we have a pi to the square value, and pi is just a real number, so you know it's going to be a constant, so we can just go ahead and get rid of this. Now looking at what we have remaining, we have two values or functions that can be derived, so we know we're going to have to use the product rule here since they're being multiplied together. So here's our product rule, and that's just the derivative of one function multiplied by the other function plus the function multiplied by the derivative of the other function. So in this case, we have x squared could be considered our f of x, and 2 to the x power can be considered our g of x. So kind of going through this, since this x squared is going to be our function of x, we'll go ahead and find the derivative of this first. So using our basic power rule, the derivative of x squared is just 2x. And then our g of x function just remains unchanged here, so we multiply that by 2 to the x. Now, since we've already found the derivative of our f of x function, now we need to multiply the derivative of our g of x function by the f of x function. So our derivative of this here, using this formula, we have a base of 2, so we have dx 2 to the x. So our a value is 2, so we have 2 to the x multiplied by the derivative of our u value, which is x here, and that's just 1. And then we just multiply that by the natural log of 2x, or excuse me, 2, our base value. So that would just be ln of 2. And that's just equal to 2x ln of 2. So that's our derivative of our exponential here. So we'll go ahead and write our f of x value, which is x squared, and then times that by 2x natural log of 2. And that's going to be our final answer. So anytime you just see an exponential, don't panic. Just kind of keep in mind that you can just follow this format here, where you have a base value raised to a power, and then you just multiply it by the derivative of the exponent, and then the natural log of the base value. And then just also be advised, if you have two functions multiplied together that can both be derived, that you're going to have to use the product rule.